Hey everybody, we're going to be reviewing the NeQter Labs Compliance Engine today, hoping to get through all of the different areas of the platform. So we're going to be reviewing the software, the features, reviewing a little bit about what you can expect from a support level, and really just understanding how this platform is going to assist you in addressing either the NIST 800-171 or CMMC compliance. So I've already logged into the tool. We're on the home screen right now. And one of the most important things I just want to highlight before we move ahead is the fact that this platform is predominantly provided on a 1U rack mountable hardware appliance that has robust resources, it's a pretty robust unit that's going to allow you to successfully host, run, and manage both the software as well as retain a recommended level of archive storage when it comes to events, vulnerability results, and overall logs that you need for auditing and accountability, whether it be for NIST, CMMC, or of course the DFARS requirements. So now that we've got that out of the way, we're on the home screen here, and the home screen is going to allow us to take a look at whether, of course, we're up to date, see what the current version is. So we're on version 2.6 for this demo right now. We're going to be able to see as well license information, event severities, and different events that occurred, and also some monitored host information. So looking at the net on the navigation to the left over here, we have Discover, Dashboard, and Events. We're going to be tackling those first. Those comprise the SIEM or Security Incident Event Management aspects of the platform. We're going to move our way to Network Monitor, Inventory, Vulnerability Scanner, and we're going to, of course, review some settings options, and we're going to wrap up with this Compliance tab here. So where I'd like to start off with the demo is on the Discover tab, just to show the fact that we're getting in the different areas of logs, whether it be from a Windows Server, Windows Active Directory. We have a lot of integrations with different networking equipment, different firewall equipment. Predominantly, how we pull information into the platform is a number of different ways. First of which is syslog, system log, output, whether it be from networking equipment, firewalls. We also have agent-based collection for Windows-based systems, and we also are able to pull information from a network level with the vulnerability scanner, network monitor, and lastly, we do have some API integrations with Google G Suite and Microsoft 365 to date. So no matter how we pull those logs in, we're able to pull them in here. Every single different ingestion and vendor is going to get a different index. And we're going to take a look at the Windows index since Windows is a system that a lot of companies have, if not every company. We're able to pull in those different event logs. We are able to store them, manage them, maintain the original raw log file, which is a requirement for the compliance. So we maintain that here. Some companies spend time in this area filtering things out and looking at the original logs and gleaning some information, much as you might with, for example, Windows Event Viewer. So you can absolutely do that. Create a filter like I have done. You can type stuff in, have a text-based query. You can also take a look at the time picker, organize stuff by time. And it's also in this area that you're able to create filters and create customized alerts if that's something that you want to do. One of the things that we focus on with the NeQter Labs platform is simplicity, ease of use, and its level of integration. So we have a lot of pre-built dashboards, pre-built alerts. So we absolutely have the option to create custom stuff, but there is a lot right out of the box that you're able to set up, and that's really comes down to our focus on small business and getting this thing up and running and getting you successful with it. So that being said, you can, of course, again, spend time in this area, filtering things down, but predominantly you're going to be hanging out in the dashboards area. So I already have a dashboard queued up. Again, we have different dashboards, and just to list off a couple that we have, Windows Active Directory, so we can see user activity, authentication activity, administrative activity. We can also see overall profiles of event log severities coming in from Active Directory. We also have dashboards built out for Windows Server, so we can look at file auditing. We can take a look at, of course, what users are doing with files, how they're interacting, if there's any audit failures. We also have a lot of dashboards associated with different firewall vendors and integration. So you're able to, you have a Cisco ASA, no problem. Go on Cisco ASA, turn on syslog output, ingest it into the tool here. We have a dashboard built out focusing on networking traffic, whether it be internal, external, successful VPN connections, web filtering. You're able to do a lot of that. We also have dashboards for server metrics, Synology, if that's something that you have. And of course, we have separate dashboards for our Google G Suite and Microsoft 365 integrations, whether they be commercial, GCC, or GCC High. We're able to support that across the board. So just to give you an idea generally of how the dashboards work, again, we're pulling in those logs from the back end like we already reviewed. And we're able to go in here and much like any of the other dashboards or the other areas of the tool, we're able to easily select something down with either a time frame here. You can do textual based queries, but the nice thing about this platform, and actually now thinking back, something I should have addressed at the top of the call, we're leveraging Elastic Elk Stack and that powerful open source engine to visualize and manage these logs. So with that, we're easily able to allow you to create filters, whether it be dragging a square over something, clicking on a graph, selecting a new frame of time, a frame of reference. And the thing that we focus the most on is the dashboards are showing vendor specific best practice information, or you're also able to see whether it be NIST based or CMMC based objectives with the different logs that we're showcasing. So rather than having to pull up your sleeves, get your hands into a tool, have a really strong learning curve and have to make a bunch of custom stuff, you get this right out of the box, plug it in, set it up, and you have this day one. You have those logs pushing in and visualizing here. And at the bottom of every dashboard, you have full access to the original raw log file as it's required and as some users like to do, of course. So that is primarily our dashboard and visualization aspects of the platform. I could go into greater detail on that, but I will move forward towards the alert side of things. So on the alert side, we do have the capability, of course, to have automated pre-built alerts in here. So there weren't any events that were tripped in the last day, it seems. If we click on the time picker selector over here, we go to 3 weeks ago till today, we can see, okay, yes, there were in fact some events that tripped, medium and highs, no lows, and we can view those alerts over here. We can see, and these are some pre-canned ones that we have in here that we have turned on. And of course, you can see the original log file. If we click view search, it will kick us back to that logs area, the different indexes that we have. So if you go to the alerts area, click up on the top here, we're able to see some are turned on right now, but we're going to create a new one. We can do it from a template, and we have some templates in here already, ready to go. Turn them on, determine the threshold. Maybe I'm going to put my email in here, and because I want to receive this alert if it trips, I want to get a direct email for that. So that's something that you can do. You can also, from a save search, from searches that we already have loaded up, or of course, if you're in the logs area of the tool, you make a custom filter, save it as a search, load it up, queue it up as a save search here, and make that custom alert. So that's a little bit about the alerts areas. Moving forward, before I wrap up with the network monitor inventory and vulnerability scanner tools, just want to review a couple settings areas related to logs. as it's immensely important from a retention standpoint and a tuning standpoint. So you are able to tune out logs as needed. They won't get deleted, as you can see here, they aren't dropped. But if something's cluttering up your dashboard, you can absolutely tune it out, maintain the audit record, but not have it ruin your visualization. You are, of course, able to do front end filtering of all the logs on the dashboard as you see fit. One of the things also to address is the backups. So because we have that hardware appliance that you are getting with the software already installed on it, it has a sizable storage on there. So generally, it's up to you to designate how many days of visualized logs and how many days of archive logs that you are going to retain. Now, again, because it's a hardware asset, you are able to maintain the archive locally, which is the default. You can augment that storage through a remote Samba share it to a network access storage, and ultimately the level of storage is purely related to how much storage you have capable on that NAS. So that's something unique as well. One of the things that we do is you designate the visualized logs, how many days of visualizations you want to see. So we have 60 days here. Day 61, that's going to kick right into the archive, and we have 180 days of archive logs over here. Really what that's doing is we're taking the visualized logs, we're stripping away the metadata, maintaining that original raw log file in its text-based form, and compressing it down quite a bit. So we're able to save on storage and allow you to archive. The archive is not permanently cold. You can warm those logs up again and restore them and revisualize them as you need in the front end of the tool. Moving forward to the network monitor, it's exactly what it sounds like there. The network monitor allows you to monitor the availability of different assets or ports that you're looking to track in internally to your environment or externally. You can also add domains in here. So if we just click on this DNS server, for example, we can see, fortunately enough, there were no outages in the last 24 hours. If an outage shows up, it's going to list it here, say it's resolved or not, might be ongoing, and give you the start and end times. We're also able to see return times for this port that we're tracking. So much like the rest of the tool, it's very easy to go in here, add a new interface, edit something that's already in here, change it up, change the interval, change the port, give it a new name, give it a new IP, provide a DNS name. Maybe if you want to look at a website, I could put google.com in here and track to see if Google is available, which is a nice benefit. And of course, as always, you can receive an alert if something has a change in availability. So that's on the network monitor side. Next tool, inventory tool, is going to do just that. It's going to allow you to track the different assets in your environment. It's going to allow you to get a full list of, okay, what computers do I have? What's connected to them? What is installed on them? So on the computer side of the equation, it's going to allow you to see, so this is Windows 10. It's going to allow you to see the build and see the license and see the key. But it's also going to pull all the hardware and software installed for the assets that you have. So it gets very, very granular. It is going to allow you to see the motherboard manufacturer, the version, the firmware on that motherboard, RAM installed, storage devices, their serial numbers, their firmwares, the capacities, their utilizations. Same thing on the software side. We're going to be able to see, okay, what's installed? When was it installed? Where is it installed? How much space is it taking up? What version? What vendor? What architecture? It's going to allow you to see everything that's installed. And the nice thing about this tool is it's not manual. You're not going in here typing in all these entries. It's pulling that automatically, and it's going to update that baseline when there is a perceived change on that asset. As soon as a new software is installed, it's going to pull that in here and record it. Allows you, of course, to see network information, whether it be IPs or MAC addresses for the different network interfaces on that asset. And lastly, it's also going to allow you to see devices connected. So monitors, printers, of course, going back to the hardware side, what GPUs does it have installed if it's outside of the regular installed motherboard one. So it does allow you to get a lot of insight into your environment and what assets are installed. And of course, going through the different areas of the compliance, especially on the SIEM side, auditing and accountability, also supporting elements of incident response. The inventory tool is going to allow us to address certain areas of configuration management, again, both for the NIST and the CMMC. And lastly, vulnerability scanner, well, it's right in the name. It's going to allow us to scan for vulnerabilities. So this scanner that we're using in here is actually open source. We're leveraging OpenVAS to address uh, this tool, this area of the platform, and really complement our toolkit that we have in here. So with OpenVAS, it is pulling in, if we just look at the sec info, it's pulling in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of NVTs, CVEs for different families of and different operating systems. So we have 60,000 NVTs in here. It's also pulling US CERT information, and it allows us to also do a network topology. We're able to see, okay, what is present, how is it routed logically within the environment. But of course, in the name, it's helping you look for vulnerabilities. So you can go as light or as heavy as you want from a vulnerability scan standpoint. We could just do a host discovery, see what's present, what IPs are live, what operating systems are present, or we can do network-based vulnerability scanning, looking at open ports, looking at erroneous or potentially malicious or really plain text configurations that might be causing a vulnerability. But it also does allow us to do authenticated scans, looking down into operating system and software level uh, different vulnerabilities. So we can obviously schedule a scan, create different targets, whether it be a single IP or range, an entire network. We can also, from a configuration standpoint, this is probably one of the most powerful areas of the tool. From a scan config, getting different alerts, getting reports, getting automated emails when those scans are run. So if we look at one of the scans, one of the reports from one of the scans that were run, we're going to be able to see the CVSS severity score associated with that vulnerability. If we just click on this one here, we're going to be able to see a list of vulnerabilities detected. Fortunately, these are all mediums and lows. And against the compliance, whether it be the NIST or the CMMC, it is going to allow us to determine, okay, from date of detection, what is the length of time I have to address this vulnerability. And you can use these reports to showcase that. So going into one of the vulnerabilities, we're going to be able to see the summary, the detection result, the insight, and all the references. But we're also going to, as we can see over here, we're going to be able to see the solution type. So we are going to be able to go in here and understand, okay, how can I address this vulnerability and fix it? That's the real key here. So mitigation, workaround, remediation, whatever it is, it's gonna say it here. And the nice thing, going back, hitting the back button here. Let's do that one more time. Well, actually, so you can of course download this vulnerability and external report. Click the back button one more time. One of the nice things is as you run scheduled scans, you're going to be able to show, okay, let me compare these two scans and see the delta of vulnerabilities. You know what? We didn't solve any. There's no minus signs here. We actually added 6. So that's another thing that this tool is going to allow you to do is really build out a robust vulnerability detection, remediation, and management system for your compliance. So if we just click on the settings area, a couple areas to address here before I wrap up on that compliance piece is actually our newest piece. You can set up network time protocol, NTP. You can have different users. You can have different user levels, whether it be admin, auditor, what have you. And of course, you can authenticate up to a different mail that you may have, whether it be Gmail, Office, or a local version of Outlook, and put in a subject prefix so you can keep an eye out in your inbox or make some rule sets or flags for these alerts as they come in, or just different information that you might need to see. And lastly, from an input side, again, going through how easy it is to set this tool up, add an input, give it a label, give it an IP, give it a log source. It's either going to be syslog or agent right now, and select the manufacturer. Once you go through those steps, you're going to be receiving those logs. With G Suite and Microsoft 365, there are actually two-step and three-step processes as well. Very quickly, you can get in logs from those cloud-based systems, which is really, really nice to see. So last tool that we have, this is all on the tech side, really plugging in your network, auditing, listening, and making some nice reports for you. This last piece, the compliance side, if we click over here, this is going to allow you to build out a system security plan or for either the CMMC or the NIST 800-171. That's what we have it set up to do now. So we can create a new SSP, whether it be NIST, give it a name, assign an owner, maybe it's myself here. Or if it's CMMC, we can select which level. If we go back, we'll open up one that we already have in here. So we'll click CMMC Level 3 System Security Plan. So we have all of the 18 domains of CMMC level 3. So we've done a little bit of work, not too much. We have all 130 practices that comprise of level 3 of CMMC, and we've done some work. So let's just start at the top and review here. So with this tool, actually let's go back. This is going to give you a progress bar for how far along you are. There's different ways that you can designate the controls, whether of course they're non-implemented, they're planned, partial, alternate, or fully implemented. From a view and edit, if we click here, it's going to give us a nice summary of the different domains. We can select all the domains. Right now, we're just looking at access control. We can see the different capabilities, and we can designate the status, see who the owner is, see if it has a response or not. So it allows us to really filter very quickly and understand, okay, I have this answered or this person owns this. So let's click on AC1001 real quick. Access control capability 001. This is the first practice. So we just didn't put a full description. We just added a full description here just as a placeholder. We have some nice rich text editing. It's cached. Your browser exits out. No problem. You're going to be able to be just fine, log back in, and that's not going anywhere. You're of course going to want to save it. We have the discussion areas and the example areas from pulled directly from the CMMC. We have a little bit of a clarification that we have put in ourselves, and we have some external references that inspired the practice or capability of the CMMC that we have here. So looking at this, the rest of the area here, we have a full change history for the different practices that you're filling out. So we can see, okay, we changed the assignee, went from not implemented to implemented, and we can view the full change value of, we went from blank to add a full description. So you can, as you progress through the entire system security plan, you're going to be able to put all of your comments in here. And again, because everything is being tracked, we actually have a fully tracked and managed revisioning system. So we've had a couple. We've had revision 1, revision 1.1, and 1.2. We can see the changes performed between each revision. We can compare the response values. And then if we made a new revision, just to walk you through that, say it's a minor, it's 1.3. We'll just add a description here for showcasing purposes. And so there was no modifications. So actually, if we go back, view and edit, let's do this one here. This one, let's just say this one's planned. We're going to do this in future. I'm going to be the owner. Because it's a planned future event, let's give it a due date. Let's say by the end of September, I'm going to get this done. And we're just going to type in here, Patrick needs to get this done. So we'll save that. Now, if we go to change history, we're tracking that change. We can see the response was updated. And if we go back to that revision area, it's also going to have that updated response as we create a new revision. Minor 1.3. Here it is, 2007. New revision value, compare response values. We can provide a description or the purpose of the changes that we have listed here, and we can provide a description of the revision as a whole. So let me just put that description of revision. And we create this new revision. Now we're going to have 4 revisions listed here. We can see the progress between them. And that's especially important as this is a maturity model. You want to show maturity that you're working on this over a period of time. So that's what this is going to allow you to do. And now if we go to the report, and we can right now generate a PDF report of everything that we worked on. It's got a great format, looks clean. You're able to navigate easily around the report. On the top of each area, so access control, the domain, this first capability, we have a summary of the practices underneath. Then we have the practices listed. If we go back up to the top just so we can easily navigate to Appendix A, we have a revision history. So all those revisions that we added, it's going to easily click right into here. No additional work on your part. It's automatically tracking that for you. So some of the additional options that we can put, we can of course add an organization name. So we're going to say NeQter Labs. And we're going to call the system the CMMC Level 3 system. So system details. So actually we'll copy that over to system name. And we can password protect the document, include a watermark if it's going to be a draft. So we're actually, we're going to mark that as a draft, and we'll give it a nice NeQter purple. Generate this tab, click generate here so we can generate this document again, and now it has our updated fields. Have the header now, CMMC Level 3 system, and everything is timestamped. So this is a great way to show maturity over time. You're adding stuff in here. You are updating it, and then you're able to export, of course, all the separate revisions as needed. You could even download this off as a CSV. So that is a full rundown of the entirety of the NeQter Labs Compliance Engine solution. So just to review, we went through the different areas: discover dashboard events comprising the SIEM, network monitor, inventory vulnerability scanner. We looked through some different settings, and then we ended off on this compliance piece. And as a company, and through the license that we provide, support is fully included. It includes all future feature updates and upgrades. There's no modular based billing or chopping stuff up. We have a single license, so everything that we add in future, and we have a lot coming down our pipeline for our development roadmap. It's going to be really exciting where we're going to get to, and we are very receptive to feedback. Anything that you can comment, let us know. Anything that you're using, of course, if it doesn't work right, we need to know if it could work better, or there might be a recommendation, something that we might not have thought of. All feedback is welcome, because we want to make this we want this to be the platform of choice for small business in the defense industrial base and anywhere the NIST 800-171 and the CMMC travels. So this was Patrick Colantonio, Director of Sales from NeQter Labs. Thank you for viewing, and we hope to see you out there. Thank you.